Hi, I'm Professor Neil Voss. I've been a professor at Roosevelt University for 15 years now in the subject of biology. I cover subjects like genetics, biotechnology, biochemistry, and adding biostatistics to my collection of large courses I've been teaching. And anyway, I kind of been following LibreTexts for a couple of years, and I finally decided to jump in all and do 100% adapt this semester for my classes. And I have kind of generated a bunch of biology problems over the years. And I even got a grant to kind of release them for free. And so I just, for example, like biochemistry here, I have a lot of different questions. They're all algorithmically generated and stuff, and um, you can download them in different formats. But you can see kind of like there's some slight differences to each question. And I wanted to kind of bring my algorithmic style over to WeBWorK. Sorry, in the LibreTexts ADAPT platform. Sorry, I'm all over the place. And it's kind of a very kind of different type of platform as to what Blackboard of what I've been using. So I've kind of been kind of having to port my questions one over kind of one at a time. So I wanted to create a better system where I didn't have to like do a lot of coding. So I am curious if anybody wants to kind of introduce themselves in the chat, what institute you're at, if you're an instructor, librarian, or other, and what kind of subjects you're interested in. Because I can be, I'm kind of being going to do this more of a demonstration, though. A lot of my content is genetics and biochemistry. I can be adaptive as well. So, but to kind of take a step back, the Adapt platform supports kind of a number of different types of questions. I guess I can go to my questions here. And if you're making a new question, you can use their kind of native format to make a multiple choice. H5P, which is kind of more of an external thing. They have the Forge. The two algorithmic ones I was looking into are the iMath AS type questions, um, which is what Open Math Works. And because it had math in the name, I guess I didn't look into that one as much. And then WeBWorK, which is kind of like they have some examples here for that you can use multiple choice single answer. It's a very Perl. I mean, the language is based on Perl, which I did a little bit back in the early 2000s, but it's not like a language I'm a huge fan of. Oh, cool. Yeah, I see like we have a few math instructors. And if you look at the kind of WeBWorK library of questions out there, a lot of them are kind of tailored towards mathematics and engineering and not so much the descriptive sciences or like with chemistry, you have molecules, which might work great for your numerical type things, but getting molecules into the questions were a little bit harder. Now Adapt does have kind of their own molecule generating thing. And so I wanted to use AI to write the questions. And I think the best example is, and if you have AI like write a question, it doesn't always do a good job. Um, this is kind of from one of my recent videos, but I can open up ChatGPT here and I'll say I'm going to turn it on to instant. Write a WeBWorK question on what is my multiple choice question, maybe on what is my favorite color, answer blue. I'll make this a little bit bigger. And, it's able to kind of generate a question. I notice it's not using kind of the more modern thing, but we can copy that and, oops, take it over to our um, question here, paste it in, and preview the question. And oops, it doesn't work. And then that was kind of my initial struggle with trying to get these types of questions to work. It just, I wasn't getting much help. And so one of the things I started doing is just kind of collecting documentation on web work, and I've written a whole book on it that I'll be jumping back and forth on it. But if we go, LibreTexts has this nice kind of, if you click on the rocket ship, you can go to the support center. And in the support center, they have the insight area. And it had lots of great content on writing web work questions um, for the Adapt platform. There's also plenty of web work kind of documentation on the internet, but it's been around for 20 years. And so web work has changed over the time. So a lot of times the AI has been trained on all of it and it doesn't kind of know the current type of things. And so I wanted to, I kind of needed to collect like a knowledge base so the AI would know how to write a proper question. But a second thing is, and this really kind of has come more to terms recently with Claude Code, is we need to be able to have the AI be able to check its own work without me having to copy and paste. Like I'll come in here, I'm like, oh, this got an error, and then I'll paste it back into ChatGPT, and I'll say, oh yeah, of course there's an error, and then I'll paste it again with a new thing, and you get a different error, and it'll be just um back and forth, and eventually ChatGPT will tell me that my thing is broken when it's not. Um, and so the first thing is I was able to take and adapt the existing kind of web work. They call it a renderer, um, which is a little bit more maybe intuitive to play around with. It actually tells you where the error is and on what line, which is helpful. But it also has kind of a back end that you can plug into these AI agents like Claude Code, where Claude Code can render this and it can get the error message back as well as the HTML, and it go, oh, I can see where my error is. And so it can correct itself without having me copy and paste back and forth all the time. And I know I'm getting advanced. I don't want to get too advanced too quickly with skills here. But a lot of the AI renderers, like Claude Code, like OpenAI's Codex now, have been kind of building off of this idea of skills. And like everyone else, I have a skills repository on all this is in the book too. Um, I have way too many platforms here. And one of the skills I wrote was how teaching these AI agents how to write web work questions. So, and it basically you need to fill out a form that says, "This is a web work question authoring skill. Here's the steps. Here are the rules." And then you give it a bunch of reference files, like how to check its work. Point it to that renderer thing I was just showing you. It includes lots of reference things, including how to check your work here. I have specialized things if you want to show a molecule for the chemistry people there. How to do coloring text in web work, how to make graphs, if you want to like have HTML in your web work, matching problems, how to make tables. So I've really kind of expanded how to do random numbers. Like for some reason these chatbots can't use like the correct system in web work to do random numbers. I don't know if it's changed over the years, but it loves to make up its own random number functions. And so I've just kind of added this corpus of information for the AI agent to look up to in order to make a question correctly, and just getting all this documentation together. I will say it's kind of fun. It was a little bit of debugging in there, um, and then once I get something to work, I make sure to write it down, kind of aspect. And then being able to have the AI check its own work was a huge benefit. So having a corpus of information that's easy to look up, and having the AI agent be able to code its own thing were huge kind of game changers. Um, and so if for those individuals who are not familiar um, with these AI agents, you can there's the OpenAI Codex, which runs like this, and they're kind of chatbots, but they're able to edit code. Um, yes, please do. It's at Voss Lab, and then I think slash live or regular ones. Yeah, is it the yeah? If you do at Voss Lab or Neil Voss Lab regularly, that'll be linked to my YouTube channel. I've started a podcast where I call Stump the Vibe Coder, where I have students come on and they give me something to program, and I have no idea what we're going to do. It's been kind of fun, but so this is the Codex app, and they want you to actually use the app, but it is essentially it looks like a chat bot. I've been playing around with Claude a lot, which is invoked in for the reason of this demo, I'm going to turn its effort on low so it goes a little bit faster. And Claude likes to make a plan, but if you want to invoke a skill, it's $ on Codex. But I have that WeBWorK writer, and that causes Claude to read that skill file that was there from the website and write code. And I can just take um, that question I posted to ChatGPT earlier, write a WeBWorK multiple choice question on what is my favorite color, answer blue. It's probably going to save it to a file. We don't even need to turn on plan mode. We'll just turn it on. If I ship tab, it changes it to write mode, and you can see it's learning how to write a header, um, which is kind of like document. It's like the comments at the top of the question. I did put it into a my biology topics thing, so it's rendering it to verify the code works. Maybe it did it right, maybe it didn't. Though, yeah, so that WeBWorK skill does come with a script. It's looking for it in the wrong place, though. There it goes. It found it. Great. And so then it created this file here, which I can I think I could probably open it up in that browser, but I'm just going to open it up in another kind of source code thing. Um, where not only did it write the question, I tell it that I like to do CC BY 4.0, and I also license the source code under the lesser GPL 3. So, um, but it runs through. My editor shows the colors next to the colors, and you can see here it's using the modern PGML type of code. And now I can take that and go back to my web browser. I can put it in the test renderer. It might look cleaner with the default mode. And if I know the answer, I can submit my answer, score 100%, which also should work in the ADAPT platform. But, it kind of takes the grunt work out of writing code. So, does anybody have I can pull out my own examples, but does anybody have an example of maybe a more complex question we want to write, something more algorithmic? Um, one of the ones I'm working on, I got to get my kinetics type questions ready for my class next week. So I have types of questions where I generate a table of the enzymes in the correct order, and they have to tell me. This is kind of a pretty simple question if you know the content, but it gets the students thinking. Um, Connecting this one, I have a lot of terminology connecting catalysis. So this one's kind of like a select the correct answer, but I have the same thing as probably a matching question later on this page. Um, One of my favorite ones is to give the students um, a collection of data, and then they have to do some calculation on the data. It doesn't seem to render as well on my web page version, but
Yeah, actually, Neil, I have a question. I have a problem. I'd like to see you take a more advanced physical physics question and convert it into something. And That's not the right thing. I need to share my screen.
Okay.
Uh, I can't do that either. Oh,
I think if I stop sharing, maybe you can. Or
yeah. So here is some OpenStax questions. Really, OpenStax didn't build it. It was
okay.
precursor to OpenStax, whatever. Let's say we took one of these questions like 61. I could paste that into the chat if you want. Uh, it, what do you need in order to make this into a question using your infrastructure?
Yeah, I mean, that's fairly straightforward because I mean, we have to, as an instructor, I probably want to make sure it's doing the algorithm correctly. Like I want to kind of like vary the numbers a little bit. I mean, I guess 120 volts is fairly standard, but um let's see, I have too many windows open. Okay.
So I
Okay.
certainly have the answer, and I probably even have the solution. This is already an adapt. I just grabbed it
I
off
want
the
to
LibreText page.
turn, I mean, so a lot of times I might do the conceptual side of things in ChatGPT because it's a little bit cheaper than using Claude. But I'd be happy to do this. I want to turn this physics question. I hate it when I have to type and talk at the same
Yeah,
time.
I'll let you take the screen.
Um,
Oh, you already have it. Okay, good.
okay. Into a um, algorithmic question and in a web work form. So this one might require a little bit of a dialogue, but um, yeah. So let's see. What's kind of cool with these things is they can take images and translate those. So I did an example video where I just basically like dumped a type of graph I wanted to generate for, or as chemists we know is titration curves, but it's basically kind of like I guess I don't know the equation offhand, but it's kind of splicing together a bunch of S curves together.
Probably Henderson Hasselbalch is what you're thinking about, but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Henderson Hasselbalch, but if you had three pKa's, it gets a little bit
Wow,
more.
yeah, right.
My thought was to do it with splines, but the AI said no, you can just render it with this equation. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Um, yeah, so it corrected some issues because I do have like a document on common problems, like using this came up in the YouTube video I recorded where using the my came up. So it's you can see here it's randomizing. I don't think the voltage source between 100 and 240 with steps of 10. The resistance from 40 to 120 is steps of 5. Now, are these ranges realistic? I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure,
well,
but we may want to make it realistic and keep it at 120. Let's see which.
I guess the question is a workflow. You jump straight into it algorithmically. I didn't know if you wanted to make it non-algorithmic and make sure that it did the math right, because I didn't give you
Oh, I see.
any.
Yeah,
I didn't. There were no calculations here, so it needed to solve it. Okay, which it may or may not be able to do, and then introduce algorithms. So when I have students do this, build these questions, is I tell them build it so it works properly as written and with an algorithmic, and then you can start adding uncertainties into it, and it just automatically works out. It's not a problem. But if you jump into
yeah.
uncertainties, now you have a lot of stuff to deal with.
I'm trusting the AI to have done that calculation correctly. That is for sure. So,
Yeah, that's scary because that's obviously what students will be
hmm
doing too.
hmm
But yeah.
yeah. A lot of times when I've been doing this, I already have the algorithmic part worked out. So you're right to question that for sure. But I mean, yeah, so you can see, I guess I haven't had a time to like put this entire question into my head. Um,
But this
I,
is the
s-
rendered input. So will this actually run in your oh, that's it there, huh?
yeah, so, and I could put it over to adapt here. So this looks like it is So
So,
input five different values and check all of them against the current answer. Yeah, so it has like fixed answers for all of these.
okay. So if it actually does the algorithmic, if it does the math right,
Hmm.
uh, then that is good. I notice you don't use significant figures in your code. I don't know if you ever get into that, but that's
Yeah, usually, yeah, I don't have to so much with biology, but yeah, the looks like this one's just kind of set to do a tolerance.
yeah,
So,
I just tend to use
but
significant
yeah,
figures because we really should all either be using that or using propagation of errors or other things like that in order to be able
that
to.
is fair. Yeah.
Uh,
And so that would be more of like a string matching. Yeah, I mean, WeBWorK has that built in. I just haven't
we
added
have some
documentation on that.
we
So,
have some significant figure stuff that's more advanced than what they have by a
oh,
faculty
I'm sure. Yeah.
up in Portland that introduced some things. But this is pretty cool. And we spent a lot of effort to go through these questions and convert them and make them work. Uh, like I said, I just need to convert, make sure that they actually work out right. So it's cool that you're able to generate these quickly. It's not so cool that students can also generate them quickly, or solve them quickly. That's
Yeah, someone was just showing the other day that you get one of those AI browsers and you can just tell them take my quiz and then it'll just do it.
Yeah, agentic AI
Yeah.
is a different issue, but that's still more scarier. Yeah, but okay, well this
Oh
is
yeah, so
cool.
there it is. It's doing the web work form for significant figures. Like, what is it doing? Format is three
Yeah,
sig figs each time. Okay, so basically just turned everything to strings.
yeah. There's a it still doesn't use the extension. You can do the math, and it propagates
Hmm.
properly with it. And
Yeah,
that,
what if the student uses scientific notation? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, so I'm sure I could. It just doesn't have any. It doesn't have the corpus of information it needs for
Mhm.
significant
Right. Yeah.
figures.
No,
So,
I understand. Um,
yeah,
wow, it's pretty impressive.
but yeah. Um,
And like I said, scary.
yeah. Uh, yeah. I kind of like to. I mean, I was thinking of like my kinetics question here, which is it's a biology level type of question. Um, but I can just kind of take this whole thing, take a screenshot, drag that into my terminal, um, and say make a kinetics question that um algorithmic uh table numbers. I don't know. I may already have the code, but
This is just based on the image itself. You're not giving
yes.
it
Oh,
anything.
I guess well, the problem is it's going to search my hard drive probably and find the Python version of the question, but
Oh,
maybe
okay.
maybe it'll do it. But yeah, you can do it by just giving it. And so it knows, oh, I can't use regular HTML tables. I have to use the nice table
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
package here. So
We are looking at adding Prairie Learn into Adapt, which is
hmm
the Python background. So you have
I was
Perl.
looking into
Yeah.
that. I don't think they actually have a Python background. I thought they only used Python for the adapt, front facing thing. The background seemed to be web workish or something. But
I'm still not. I looked at their code. It's just structured language. It was so
yeah, yeah.
similar to what we already had. I did not want to pursue it, but it has some good graphical presentations.
Oh,
And
interesting.
if people like to write in Python, which is more useful than Perl these days, that they may want to use that
I mean,
mechanism.
I'm essentially using Python to write Perl. So
Yeah,
yeah.
right. No.
See, it takes a Python script to send the Perl to the renderer. So, but yeah, no, I always have that renderer server kind of running in a Docker thing. So I just type run and it does it. So, but yeah, I know. One thing. While it's kind of thinking, um, one of my colleagues pointed out to me this other website called Biology Simulations, and they had like this really cool like enzyme simulator where you can adjust things.
Uh-huh.
and watch it happening. And I saw, oh, it's CCB by NCSA. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I can take that and put it into Adapt. So I downloaded the source code for it, which Windows Adapt.
Was it just JavaScript?
Yeah, it's just JavaScript in the browser. Well, it loaded some PNGs. I'm like, oh, we can make
Yeah,
those enzyme shapes with SVG.
yeah.
Sorry, get to the right place. I'm curious how if students have passed it yet, but I guess it's spring break. They're probably not doing it. Oh yeah. So, but I was able to turn it into. I stripped some of the things because we haven't learned everything yet. But I have now I have a simulation question, and they have to answer follow up questions after running the simulation.
So is this running it on your server and your
No, this is adapt. So,
oh, you ran it directly in Adapt?
yeah, using WeBWorK. So
Wow. Okay. I didn't even know you could do this. And
because
yeah,
WeBWorK can take any JavaScript, so it.
right. Yeah. Uh, I mean, I think this
Uh,
the CK editor should also allow JavaScript, but we've never used it in this case. But this looks
yeah.
beautiful.
Well, I was just like, can I do this? They're like, yeah, I guess I can. So,
This is cool.
and then I'm like, oh, I want the color. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, it's
I
nice.
spend too much time on
You
things.
made sure you got the attribution right at the bottom.
Yes, it should be.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Just for, yeah, there you go. Just to make
Julian
sure we're
Papa's
both
violation simulation
legally and
policy, source
ethically
content.
sound.
Oh, okay. Well, the source content didn't link with more about it,
Well, this is
but I did
cool.
my best to.
This is really cool.
Yeah. So, but I haven't really felt like I mean, I just kind of throw problems at it and see what happens.
So you gave it the JavaScript and it
Yeah.
remodified it,
hmm
or
I completely vibe coded the whole thing. Yeah,
did you?
I gave it the JavaScript. I'm like, well, we got to get rid of the PNGs. I'm like, this one's got a little bit more stuff than I want. I'm like, if we haven't learned about the pH and temperature adjustments of enzymes, I was going to add that for the next chapter. So get rid of that and get rid of inhibitors because that's the next chapter as well. Um, and and like instead of using PNGs for these shapes, generate them from SVG because they're simple.
And this is for
And
introductory biochemistry.
yeah,
Okay,
uh,
that's really
and
good.
yeah, so I was pretty happy with that. So,
Yes.
but
Wow.
but
So how
all of
big
these
is
are.
your corpus going to be once you put these all together?
I mean, I have a whole first semester biochem, and these are all algorithmically generated. So like each student will see a different version of these types of questions. So
Well, I'm glad I attended. This is cool.
so yeah, I don't know if I have any. I mean, I'm always trying to see what else I can do with it, but
So if we want to
um,
make what you've created, sorry to be ignorant here, especially since I'm going to be presenting on AI in a couple days and LibreText, but uh, you have your whole interface that you have put together. Is that something that we can port into LibreText so the general users can put this together without having to run their own Docker
it
images?
should be able to. Let's see. I was trying to think. So I try to document as much as I can, but you've to make setting up the PG renderer. I have written that up. Um, so you need to have something to send to. Uh, I don't know the whole like setting up the back end to the Claude code, but I mean it should be doable. And then it's just getting the information to the AI agent and back. I'm sure your colleagues
And
know
it's
what
just
that
going to be
kind of.
API
Yeah,
such
yeah.
as yeah, we should
So it
talk
should be
about
pretty
this.
straightforward. And then
Yeah.
the documentation is just the documentation that can come in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
So
right. But the idea is that anybody and their uncle can come in and start actually doing the same thing and such.
yeah, basically I made this because I needed this is the documentation. I'm like, well, if I want I basically made a chapter for everything I need to do. If I want to make um displaying chemical formulas or something like that. So what was the one I added recent? Oh, sorry, that was in the chapter 4. I recently got um JMall or whatever they JMall JS
JS small, yeah,
working in here, so you can kind of
yeah.
this asks you which the rendering I'm doing, so because it just takes any type of JavaScript. I know you have your own
There are alternatives. I mean, JS
molecule
small
thing, but I
is good.
have, I did a lot with RDKit
Uh-huh.
to oh sorry, those are the ones I borrowed. Basically, this is my easy version. Here's a peptide. Which two amino acids are there, right? So a little bit more challenging for an AI, but get students to learn their side
Yeah.
chains.
I mean,
But,
the clicker, the Sketcher platform should have market, so you can actually add that in there, and they have to select which atom if you want to be
oh
able
yeah,
to
okay.
or
I was
group
looking
them.
into that. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
one thing I'm missing is to be click on the peptide bond, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we could click on bonds and atoms. We just can't
Oh,
click
cool,
on side on lone pairs right now. Uh, so it's already ready to go for these sort of questions.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I was just playing around with the whole WeBWorK pipeline. That's why I'm
Hmm.
doing it that way. But yeah,
No,
so
it's really cool.
and it finished my biochem question. I don't know how good of a job it did. What are we maxing out? 195 here. It didn't quite understand the problem. I usually make it easy for the students to divide by. So this one maxes out 140. You divide by two, and then select that number. So
Yeah.
I love it when students take this problem and they're plotting it out and stuff. Um, but yeah. So yeah, this is an example of one where it didn't quite work the first round. I'd have to go. I would probably want to go in and tweak the logic it chose. So.
And the code looks reasonable too.
Mhm. Yeah, I haven't given it a coding style. I mean, I do tell it to put statement, solution, but
Hmm.
comments are whatever it decides to do. So, and I like that I don't have to think about a name for the problem. I just I typically just kind of copy what it chose. But I do have it like add subject and try and get it to do keyword tags and stuff like you have your thing there. So, but
Well, that's one of the things we wanted to be able to use AI for was to take any question, the rendered output, and identify the keywords and perhaps being able to break it up into the sections and such that are important. And it sounds like that this might be useful for that. It's one of the things that we'll be talking about on Friday.
yeah, I'm trying to think of just another thing to kind of demonstrate stuff you can do, but I mean, WebWorks pretty powerful language. I mean, I really like the graph demonstration that Justin had earlier for the iMath AS. I haven't found like a really good graphing type of system for WebWork right now, but
Now it uses Tixie, which is a little old looking.
yeah, it's kind of like a LaTeX style. Yeah,
Yeah, it is LaTeX
but
technically. So yeah.
okay, yeah. So I guess my making graphs example, the one I found was PG graph macros. So I was digging a lot into the PG WebWork code to kind of figure out what's possible. So and I I documented it all here in the common macros section, which is probably one of the longer pages. So, but oh no, I guess this is maybe the wrong.
No, what you've created here is really quite impressive. Documentation and instrumentation.
Well, I think I started this last summer, so it didn't come overnight,
Sounds great.
but yeah, no. If anybody thinks of any good ideas, wants to see if it's possible with the AI generator, I'm always up for interesting challenges, and you can email me or maybe I'll even make a YouTube video on it. So. But
So let me ask a question here. Let's say I took Leninger um, or Stryer or some other big book with lots of questions, and
mhm.
I asked and I set up a team, and I've done this manually, brute force approach, in order to go question by question and rewriting the question in a copyright-free form.
Mm.
Uh, how useful would it be with something like what you put together here in order to be able to facilitate that?
I mean, that's getting into the copyright. That's a hard one, but when and
Well, as long as numbers
transformative. But
change and letters
yeah,
change
yeah,
and
yeah,
things
yeah. I
like
guess
that.
so.
I mean, and the questions themselves are not,
But I mean, you
they've
think
been
you could
around in
probably
various.
launch a bunch of. I mean, it's such a embarrassingly parallel type of thing, I would imagine. So
Yeah, yeah, we should talk.
yeah, I mean, I can get. I've gotten Claude to do parallel things, but
Well, it could just be bulk. It doesn't have
oh yeah, and
make
I find that
sequential.
coders always the AI agents always want to always kind of implement coding shortcuts whenever they can. So I'll often set up like a manager. I had like the silliest thing. I had like a manager agent reviewing the code from all the coder agents, and then I had like a separate like code external code reviewer reporting to the manager. I don't know. You get a little crazy.
Well, I mean, this is what you do when you use
What was the
students
name of the
or even subject matter experts in order to be able to build questions. So you're just taking the workflow and making them all agents for doing so.
I'm trying to think what's the oh trying to think of my Mad Max references because this one guy um made this thing. I can't something town. It's not Bullet Town. Gas Town. Gas Town.
Gastown, yeah, where Thunderdome is. Yeah,
Yeah, so Gas Town this guy made this thing called Gas Town where he launches like I don't know, hundreds of agents or so. Um or 20 to 30 agents and then they all kind of he has like a mayor that coordinates things. He came up with all these funky names for the different coders and they have this database that kind of this would be like where you put like all the questions from your textbook as a bead and then you'd assign each question to a coder and then they come back to this central tracking system to say hey I finished and then someone will review their work or another agent will review their work. I don't know, this guy is a little on the crazy side um but it's a wild idea so
yeah. See a lot of potential there, especially for what we want to do. A lot.
so you tell the mayor what to build. The mayor creates a convoy with beads. The convoy sends things to the code. So anyway,
Sounds good. Okay.
yeah.
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about other than?
No, I was kind of just kind of a open ended. These demonstrations where I look at all what I've done only have so much value to other people. So I kind of wanted to do more of a like a workshop
Well, the potential is,
and show the potential.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think most of us understand that you can use just ChatGPT or any other direct command prompt and put in a book page and have it spit out X number of multiple choice questions.
Hmm.
Now, yeah, 20% of them you throw away because they're junk, and the rest are somewhat reasonable. And that's what we want to be able to scale up. But the issue is trying to do what do you do when you want a more sophisticated STEM-based infrastructure? And that's where the infrastructure you come in place helps to facilitate making that into a reality, assuming that the underlying answer truly is the answer
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you. And not
I
that I
mean,
doubt you, but I need to, it
for the lower
AI
level
understand.
textbooks, there's enough content on the web that it usually gets it correct. I think the more niche stuff, it definitely, because these AI agents are trained on examples made by humans, right? So, um,
Right. That sounds great. Uh, and I look forward pitching the biochemistry questions once you are complete with them, are complete enough in order to start telling them. Because there's a big need for biochemistry questions, as you no doubt know.
Yeah, I've talked to some people that do second semester biochem, and I really only have the first semester built in, but I think I should have a whole full homework suite here by the end of the by May. So
Sounds great. And I'd be particularly interested in aligning them to the biochemistry books that we created. Um,
yeah, of course I aligned it to my own, but I
right.
mostly kind of follow the main biochemistry. I mean, biochemistry, it's not as much as like chemistry, but biochemistry's kind of got the same chapter layouts.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think we followed Linenger. I could be wrong uh, in the way we structured it. And it's in our biology library, not
oh,
our
sorry,
chemistry
not
library.
my bad.
So it needed to go somewhere. That's the library we
Okay, I'm gonna
selected.
type in bio here. Got it. Yeah, I was kind of following the fundamentals of biochemistry a little, probably mostly closely. So
Right.
yeah, I guess I broke up chapter 6 into like three separate chapters, I think is where I deviate. So,
Well,
but
that's what remixing lets you do.
hmm but
Okay, well, with that, we should probably close this thing off.
yeah, well, thanks for the interaction, Delmar. I hope everyone else got something out of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. This is really cool stuff. Uh, I'm very excited about what AI can do. But as I mentioned before, I'm also scared about what AI can do.
I know
So
when I first like learned this type of, it's a lot to take in at once. So I would imagine it's the rest of the audience is kind of like, okay,
yeah.
there's a lot of think here, a lot of stuff going on.
But if we could take this and compartmentalize it so
Yeah.
any a user on their platform can use
Hmm.
it, then I think it'd be very powerful. And one of a suite of AI things that we're going to be releasing in the near future.